As I was preparing my reflection for this week, I was thinking about previous weeks too, and about the practice of gratitude that we'd been talking about. So this week, each day, I was trying to find a moment where I could just stop for a few seconds and be thankful for the little things, for the everyday things in life. So I encourage you to continue to try and work on a practice of gratitude in your lives as well. And it flows nicely into our story this week again. I think probably most scriptures, if we looked for it, could be about thankfulness. For Bartamaeus was a man who had a lot for which to be thankful, at least by the end of the passage, and probably even before that. I'm sure even in the midst of his blindness and his struggles and his poverty, there was something that was a light in Bartamaeus' life. But indeed, on this particular day that we have a glimpse into his existence, his blindness has been cured, and he is showing gratitude to Jesus. He's choosing to become a supporter. In that last line, we hear about how Bartamaeus chooses to get up and follow Jesus on his way. He has faith that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of David, even before he is healed. And even though we don't know exactly what Bartamaeus might have said or done after that healing, other than we're told that he goes and follows Jesus, we could imagine that if you had lived your life for a good portion of your life in darkness and blindness, that receiving healing might make you a little overjoyed. Might be pretty happy. And so perhaps Bartamaeus shouted thanksgivings so that all around that crowd that had gathered could know what had been done for him. Perhaps he sang a song of joy, like we sang with the children. But certainly he gave thanks, perhaps just quietly in a moment in the evening. But he would have offered thanks. It seems a natural response to the healing that he has received. And so we're going to get creative, and we're going to enter into a way of offering thanks ourselves. I'm going to bring over my flip chart. So it's going to be in front of some of the choir, but I think you'll be okay. You're going to help me to write a poem about Bartamaeus' thanksgiving for being healed. I'm going to invite the guys to flip to the next slide. And I know I've got that wrong, so I'm going to fix that. So it's a Cinquain poem, a 5-lined poem, and our first line is the topic, healing. So that was the easy part. I did that for you. Now, for the harder parts, I need 2 words that describe healing. Prayer? That describes healing? I'm good with it. Okay. And then we're going 3 words, action words or verbs relating to the healing. So what happened? Restoring, there we go. Reflection. Jubilation. I like this. And now we're looking for feelings, 4 feelings. So how would Bartimaeus, or us, many of us have experienced a healing of one sort or another, medical if nothing else. Relief, there we go. Joy. Yes. That's good. I'm trying to think how to spell elated. Thank you. It wasn't hard, but I was like, hold on, that's not one I use too often. What was the other one? Gratefulness, yeah. Okay. And then the last line is a synonym, another word for healing. Yeah, but we've got restoring. Can we? Health? There we go. Oh my goodness, I'm really having trouble spelling my head. There we go. Okay, so there's our poem. I'm going to try and read it. I'm not very poetic, but healing, prayer, forgiveness, restoring, reflection, jubilation, relief, joy, elated, grateful, health. Pretty good, eh? And it wasn't that painful or difficult, was it? I don't think of myself as being one of those creative-minded people, and even I could do this. So it's fun for us to engage that other part of our brain that encourages us to be creative, but also I included this today because I thought it might be something that we might take with us. A practice that when we are thankful for something, if we're keeping a gratitude journal or attempting to keep a gratitude journal, we might choose to not just think about what it is that we're grateful for, but about how that changes us or affects us and the feelings that we have a result of that gratitude. And so it's a good way of offering gratitude. I don't think Bartimaeus actually composed a poem, but you never know. Anything is possible, right? To help us understand a little bit more about the significance of Bartimaeus' healing for our lives, I'm going to read you an excerpt from my Seasons of the Spirit curriculum. It says, to help us understand the meaning of this passage for our lives, we must see that sight is a metaphor for faith in Jesus. People who believe, even those who are blind, see Jesus. Hearing is not enough. We are required to do more, to respond in faith. Those who do so have not just heard Jesus, but they have seen him. As Jesus comes through Jericho, Bartimaeus calls out, and Bartimaeus would have had no societal right to do this. He is a beggar, an outcast, one of the least. But in a defiant act of faith, Bartimaeus throws off his cloak, which was a symbol of his status, or lack thereof, and calls out to Jesus in words that no one else in Mark's gospel, including the disciples, ever uses. Bartimaeus calls to Jesus as Son of David. Thus, it is Bartimaeus who sees Jesus most clearly, acknowledging that he is the Messiah. By the way the story is shaped, the author of the Gospel of Mark points us to see that it is actually the disciples who don't understand Jesus's message and who are blind. Jesus must teach them repeatedly about the nature of discipleship and what it means to live in the reign of God. For, of course, the disciples were one of the ones who told Bartamaeus to be quiet. Seeing is a theme in Mark, and he uses it to frame the journey of Jesus to Jerusalem and how the people respond to his message. So the question I leave with you today is, how can we not just hear the message, but how can we see Jesus here before us as well?